Don't forget to subscribe.
Chelsey in North Carolina, you're on the hang up. Thank you. How can we help?
Hey, well, I got my Moderna shot too. The last one, it was a real doozy. So I guess you're experiencing what I was experiencing: fatigue, dizziness, and massive severe headache. So beware.
Yeah, I don't have a headache yet, but there's
anyway.
fatigue and yeah. But go ahead. You had a question. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to throw that out there because what it might affect. But anyway, I'm kind of. I guess I threw myself off by saying that, but since you brought it up, help me out here. What's in the queue?
You wanted to talk about how to better communicate with your therapist, who's an Episcopalian.
Correct. That's easy. That's easier to get out that way.
Yep. So all you, Darrel, go for it.
How long have you been seeing this therapist?
I've only been there 2 times, 2 sessions. The first session, he said he has. I thought he came off as secular when he said this, but I didn't know until the next session. Well, let me just get about what. Just one thing at a time, one thing at a time. He said, given the situation with my brother since I'm trans, he said, oh my God, my mind went blank. No.
So has he been, you've only seen him 2 times? You've only seen your therapist
Yes.
2 times? Okay. And
2 times.
did he?
And the second time, go ahead.
Are you meeting him in an office that appears to be secular, or is there religious bullshit in the office?
His office is kind of messy, so I didn't get a good look. But he did point to, like, he has a bit of pride in his Episcopalian, what do you call it? He went to an Episcopalian school.
Okay.
To get his therapist license or whatever you call it. So I don't know if it has anything. I'm just trying to be open-minded as well as setting a boundary between me and him. If there's anything.
Right. Did you? Let me. I don't want to make an assumption here. Are you? How do you identify? Atheist, agnostic, religious? What?
Atheist.
How do you identify? Okay. Did you tell your therapist right up front? Did you tell your therapist that in the first session? Okay. Has he respected that?
Not the first session, but the second session at least. That's when he brought up Episcopalian.
Okay. So you told him you were atheist. Did you tell him in such a way that it's unambiguous that you don't want a bunch of religious stuff in your therapy?
Based on how much I was bashing religion, I was a little bit stunned by how he brought it up. But I should probably also mention that he did, when we got on the subject of me being trans, he said, like, because I called him before I went to my first session. This was like back in January, when I was trying to get a letter for my surgery. I called him and he said he doesn't feel. He just said he didn't feel comfortable writing a letter since he's not in the field to do so. But he would love to see me, like, as far as therapy goes. And then fast forward to the second session. Which was, anyway, it doesn't matter when it was. But I wish I wrote this down before I got on. But go ahead. You were going to say something.
What was the presenting problem or presenting issue? What were you wanting to see him for? What was the issue you wanted to see him for?
Being that I had cut off my brother since he's such a bigot and intolerant with me being trans. That was the main issue.
So the presenting problem is your relationship.
That wasn't the whole issue. The whole issue would be my aunt who. Go ahead.
Well, I'm listening. Let me just summarize. The very first thing you said was that your relationship with your brother was one of the emotional issues you're trying to deal with. So what was the next issue? Your aunt?
I have an aunt. My aunt. I called in the show before on a Sunday, but anyway, I'll just reiterate what happened. She basically berated me for publicly posting on Facebook the text that my big brother sent me, and I just outed him as an abuser. That just relieved. That was my relief of getting relief. Finally saying I'm done with you. I'm done with my brother. I'm over it. And that was my way of doing that.
Your aunt didn't like that.
And she didn't like that, and she berated me on the phone.
Okay.
And then later, when I saw her at the beach, she was cold at first, but then we just got along okay-ish, I guess. Back to normal, sort of. And then when my brother came over, because he was at the beach, but at another location, but nearby, he came over one day on the weekend, and just for a little bit, he came over. I didn't interact with him because I had cut him off. I had cut him off and all that. I stayed true to that. And my aunt didn't like that. She didn't like that I wasn't talking to him or engaging with him. So later, after he left, let me finish. Okay, I'm just about done. After he left, she said, let me get to the bulk of it. The bulk of it would be, she said, well, I'm going to set a boundary with you, talking to me. She said, if you can't interact with your brother when you're at this place, like at the beach house, which is where I was staying, her beach house, you're not going to be invited to stay here any longer. And this is the only vacation I ever get. That's the bulk of it. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, let me ask, are you feeling isolated and alone as a result of these two people?
I live by myself, but yeah, pretty much. COVID's made it worse.
Do you have do you have other friends or people that you interact with regularly?
I do. Not just online, but also, well, it's been a long time since I've hung out with anybody because of COVID. But
sure. Oh yeah, right.
I do have in real life friends. So I'm good there.
Are they supportive of what you're trying to do with your life?
Oh yeah, definitely. I wouldn't be friends with them. Well, I'm kind of on hinge on one of them. I'm contemplating on one of them, but the rest of them, they're all dandy.
Okay, so what I'm looking for is, do you have a good social support network independent of your brother and your aunt? Let me just say that what your aunt is doing that's not a boundary. It's not what I would call a boundary. She's trying to make some demands on your behavior when you're around her. Now, she can certainly disinvite you and not let you come to her beach house. That's her right. She can certainly do that.
Yeah.
And you can decide to avoid her house if she decides she wants you to behave in a way that you're not comfortable with. I mean, you're saying I'm not comfortable. What I hear you saying is, I'm not comfortable being around my brother who disrespects me and doesn't support what I want to do with my life. And that's a perfect right for you. What she's saying, it sounds to me like she wants to support your brother in that disrespect or whatever you feel it is. So anyway, if you've got a good support system around you, that's a very big plus. I would, Chelsey. I think that's the biggest thing I'm hearing from you. And so that allows you to make
the biggest.
That allows you to make
system.
choices. Well, we all could probably use more support. That's for sure.
Let me finish.
It's definitely much worse.
I'm already starting to look for the what?
No, go ahead.
Who said something? Okay, sorry. I'm already starting to look for other people to, like, chosen family, in other words. If I have to, if shit hits the fan, you know. I'm already starting to look for chosen family just in case shit does hit the fan. So.
Okay. Well, the way I look at it is you want to have, when you're jumping off of one boat, you want to have another boat ready. Or you want to have a place of solid ground. I guess I shouldn't use a boat, but it sounds like you've got one island you want to get off of, and that's the island your brother and maybe even your aunt is on. And you want to get to another island, and that other island's got all your true friends, your chosen family. And if you've got that other island and it feels solid and these folks are supportive of what you want to do with your life, that gives you the flexibility emotionally to go ahead and distance yourself from your brother and your aunt. Now, let me just say that if you can distance yourself from them for, say, 6 months, long enough to get back on your own feet and to kind of get the emotional connection down to a manageable level between them, you may be able to go back and renegotiate the relationships, or you may just decide it ain't worth it. I mean, you've heard what Matt said about his parents. I've heard what Seth Andrews said about his parents. It ain't worth it sometimes. And so you're going to have to make that decision. I mean, everything we said to EJ, everything Matt said about those kind of things applies here in that sense. But congratulations to you, because you've got a support system. You're not dependent upon your aunt. You're not dependent upon your brother. And you certainly don't need their approval to live the life you want to live. That's my message to you.
One thing, Chelsey, is that if you're busy trying to win over people who are not interested in being won over, every minute you spend doing that is a minute that you could have spent expanding your support network. And so that, you know, because if you only have a couple of people in your support network now, how do you expand that without putting yourself out there and using those people to meet other people so that you can build a network? Because I don't care who I'm related to. Your family, if you act like family. Darrel is more family to me than many people who I'm actually blood related to. And there are people, you know, Seth is like a brother. And it's, you know, you build those relationships by saying, you know what? Maybe I'm not completely ready to cut these people off, but I can't keep putting time into people who aren't going to offer me any sort of reward for that time. Let me see if I can build a better network and keep doing that. And if that means you dump your therapist and get a psychotherapist through psychotherapy.org, then that's what you do. But I wish you the best, Chelsey, and I'm sorry you're going.
Chelsey, give that therapist one more session. Tell them unequivocally, in clearest way you can, what you want, and that you're an atheist, you don't want religion. If he honors it, fine. If he doesn't, then go find the Secular Therapy Project. And we actually have a lot of secular therapists in North Carolina. A lot. I think there's like 15 or 16 in the state. So you'll be able to find a good therapist in North Carolina. I'm positive of that.
Chelsey, I appreciate it. Well, you want to hang up on us? You want to hang up on us, or you want me to hang up on you? Which one you prefer?
I'll slam on that.
Bet. Thanks, Chelsey. I appreciate it, and you know, I wish you the best, and good luck with all that. I wish it's so hard, you know, watching people who are dealing with absolutely atrocious things, especially the trans community.
Hello, sinners. It's me, and you're watching The Line. Hit that subscribe button and consider ringing that bell, because if you do, an angel will get its wings.